Next question, Nick,
the question I was going to ask was from Mike Callan.
Yeah, Mike's got a good one.
Mike, you got a good question here. What do you get your son to understand? Oh, sorry. Let me start over there. How do you get your son to understand that things can be dangerous and quit laughing in your face when you tell him to be careful?
That's a raw question. That's real life.
That's reality. Mike's one of my best friends from high school. He was at my wedding. Played ball with him and stuff growing up, just for reference on that. Who he is. He's a solid guy. He's got a Arch is his son's name. They've got another on the way, but he's two, about two, yeah.
Ooh.
So
Good luck,
he's
brother.
dealing with it,
Exploring
right?
the boundaries.
So he's dealing with it, right? Yeah.
Trying to reason with
He's
a
in it,
2-year-old.
yeah.
That's what I think I said it on the podcast. My counselor told me I thought it was like gold.
You're not gonna win.
He's like, you're not going to win an argument with a 5-year-old. And I was like, wow. I've never even thought of that before.
Yeah.
I think this is something I really need to grow in, because I'm a 6 on the Enneagram. I mean, you can do all the different personality traits, but like the 6 on the Enneagram is a loyalist, but they're like shadow side, or like the bent is that they're like catastrophe thinkers. Like
That's my wife.
everything's gonna go wrong. Like everything is gonna go wrong. So like when my son's like, climbing a tree, I'm like, broken arm. Like, or he's jumping on the bed. Like tonight I was throwing this ball at him and he kept jumping in the air on his bed and falling backwards to catch it. And he was like this close to the wall. And I was like, stop. You are going to hit your head.
That was my mom.
Yeah, like you are going to hit your head. And he's like, no, it's fine. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah. And so I would love to hear from you guys, because this is something that I really struggle with. Like I really do, because I'm just like, I'm not a helicopter parent by any means, but it's like, I'm just like, oh gosh, like, I need to be there. Like I need to be outside with them. I can't, like just in case, so.
I'll start out because I feel like I'm on the opposite spectrum that you are. I'm kind of like, what's the opposite of a helicopter?
Something on the ground.
Yeah, I'm the dad that's
something
like,
that doesn't fly.
A tank.
I let it happen. just so I can like say, ha. Like,
Yeah.
told you
So
so.
when they laugh in your face and they fall and hurt themselves, then you laugh in their face.
Yeah. No, but I guess it just comes back to the like building resilience and like letting them learn things on their own, letting them overcome things on their own. But yeah, I'm just kind of like, okay, do it and get hurt, and then you'll see.
Yeah, I fall somewhere in the middle. I try to, because my son is definitely like that wild 2-year-old, but he's 6 now, 7. So it's basically been like amplified, right? Like he has like more curiosities, he can do more things, he's more independent, and so like he like loves to climb the trees in our yard and like balance on like the random brick like wall that's like 4 feet.
Is that a thing for boys?
Yeah.
It's just like any wall that's brick, they're like, I have to climb that.
Wow, that's really skinny. I could fall. Like, I want to climb it. And, I try to just like guide him. And so like, even just like the phrase like, oh, hey, like, be careful, like that. That's my wife is that person where it's like, well, that's not really like helpful to just say to be careful to a kid. Like, what does being careful mean? Like it's
They
not.
don't know what that means.
No, it's like, hey, you're really high up right now. Like, make sure you look at where you put your feet. Or like, hey, like that can be slippery up there. Like, make sure you're good or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. I try to give
Practical.
like some sort of practical guidance, and in a way, I mean, there's times where they're just climbing a tree, and I'm kind of like,
But
with
at
Nick
the end
a
of the
little
day,
bit.
it's like when you were growing up and you were a teenager and your parents were telling you that's not a smart decision. Did you really listen to them?
No.
It's the same when you're a kid. Like when you're telling your 2-year-old or 5-year-old or whatever not to do something, they're probably going to do the opposite of what you tell them.
But I think you got to tell them.
I do that now.
Yeah.
Like as a grown
You
adult.
can't tell me what to do.
You got to try to put up the bumpers
that's
and
what
be
I'm
like,
saying. Like you have to
hey.
let them learn on their own, or
Yeah.
they're not going to. How many mistakes did you make as a teenager? And you're like, my parents told me not to do this, but I had to learn it myself to actually get it into my brain.
Yeah.
Sure, I think that's
you just hope that you do it without breaking a bone,
Right.
cracking your head open. But
So as
Jumping off the
parents,
roof.
why not? Like, why are we just keep beating a dead horse?
yeah. I think there's lines.
Yeah.
Right. And there's
I'm not
things that
saying you
can
should let your
structure.
2-year-old walk up to a cliff.
Yeah.
Right.
Come
There's
on.
things you should have in
Play
place,
Carter Highway.
but still giving them the autonomy to be who they are, right?
Yeah. There's some non-negotiables, but
Like-
let's be like most things that they're probably going to go do is like,
Yeah, like if
Yeah.
it's not
Can they?
life threatening, you're probably fine.
Yeah.
And my kid's just barely learning to walk. He's not able to walk yet. Exactly, right? So he's crawling and he's standing up on furniture.
Come
and
on.
bar stools and
Let's go, Brooks.
all that stuff and the TV stand. And I think at this point in my life, obviously I'm not going to be like, well, figure it out. He's
Yeah.
not even one.
Yeah.
He's not going to figure it out. Like,
Right.
we don't need him to gash his head open. So
Exactly.
that's a little different, obviously. Just being there and doing it with them and rolling around on the floor with them, and obviously being there.
Dude,
and
just doing
balancing
stuff
him.
with them though.
Yeah.
We're like,
I think that's the
Balancing him.
like you want to
letting
climb
him
trees,
fall.
whatever it
Let's
is.
go.
Like you want to. All right,
Yeah,
cool.
let's
Yeah.
do it.
Let's do it.
But I
Yeah.
think too, if they see you do something that you're capable, that they're capable of doing, and they see that you can do it, and then you guide them through it, it's important too.
Yeah.
Because they say, "Oh, quit. That's not too dangerous
Yeah.
or life threatening. I can
Right.
do it."
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I think about Noah, like one way that I'm trying to teach her like bravery right now is like jumping off the couch, but she's jumping into my arms. So she trusts me enough to be like, okay, like I'll
Yeah.
And so it's like, I want to teach her to be like, yeah, like be brave, be courageous. But it's like, I think what you said is like super important. It's like, hey, listen, how can I as a parent or as a dad walk with them in this to help them explore their like, and it's not a like way of life where I'm trying to restrict them from it, but I'm trying to like help them experience the fullness of life of like, yeah, let's go climb trees. Like, let me help you. Like, you can't reach that branch. Let me push you up and help you reach it. And I think it's just like a doing it with them, I think is the thing that really kind of hits home for me. So
How many
that's
times
the
have we
point.
come back to that though?
Yeah.
Do stuff with your kids.
Yeah. I think that's kind of the point
Do
of the just do stuff with your kids.
Be a dad.
Be a dad. Wow.
Whoa.
Whoa. Okay. Oh, this is a good one. This kind of breaks up the fatherhood conversation a little bit. How long have we known each other, and how did we all meet?
Yeah.
Yeah. Solid.
Okay. How do you
Can
start?
we-
Yeah,
okay.
go ahead.
So I've known Nick for about 5 years since I started working here. Nick and I became coworkers, and then we became
Besties.
so much more. He introduced me to life on two wheels,
Oh wow.
riding bikes together,
Yep.
and then
Wait, who brought the bikes into the relationship? You or you?
Well, he was like an advanced cyclist when I showed up to the game.
Wow.
And I was like, I just got a bike and I'm like, don't know what to do. And then he's like, hey, you want to go for a ride? And he like destroyed me. And I was like, I'm broken. And I was like, I need to get better and also buy more things.
Yeah, seriously.
I need carbon
Cycling.
wheels and aero bars.
I
And
need everything.
Yeah.
So known Nick for a hot minute. Met Michael. I think we probably met the first time going on a ride.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I think it was going on a
And
ride.
I was
And
like-
you guys smoked me.
Well, you were probably in the position I
literally
was when I first met Nick.
Cycling
It was
is
the
the most
same-
humbling sport that
Cycling
you will
is
ever,
so hard.
ever
It is
do.
so hard.
Outside of golf, probably.
Yeah, or golf.
Yeah.
Golf's
yeah.
tough.
Yeah.
I mean,
But man, you
never.
But it's physically humbling.
Yeah,
You
physically.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
golf's more.
Just-
Yeah.
break you down.
I'm not a cycler, but
Cycler.
I would
You
You
imagine.
should, bro. You should
I've
get
done the
out there.
Peloton. We got a Peloton.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh, you're there. You're
a
halfway there.
different.
You,
Yeah.
I know.
You've tested the waters then. You know, you kind of know.
Yeah.
But
Once you
once you,
clip in,
climb
man,
an
you know
actual
what
hill,
Yeah,
Yeah.
when you're on a real mountain. Sick.
Yeah. That's
And then
fun.
I met Noah podcasting.
Literally the
Yeah,
first
the
day we
very first
recorded.
day that we recorded, we met.
Yeah,
we
that
didn't
was
even know each other. Which
think that's what's so cool
The beauty
about
in
this.
this, right?
As much as the audience is learning about us, we're kind of learning about one
Yeah.
another, which is like super cool.
Yeah.
yeah, like me and Michael talked about earlier, I've known him for 3 months, and I didn't want to disclose certain information. But yeah, I've known Ryan for 5 years. I've actually known Noah for longer than any of you guys.
Yeah.
Which is funny.
But
Yeah.
we haven't seen each other
Yeah.
since
in several years.
Yeah, since
So
probably
we-
10 years ago.
Yeah. So we played ball together, and then Michael and I met in college. Michael like retired from ball, and then was at our school, and we became friends when I was actually looking for his best friend to talk, and then Michael and I ended up. I was finding his friend to talk about football.
Yeah.
And then I ran into Michael, and we talked about everything but football. And we became best friends.
Yeah, man.
So
Yeah.
it's like we've known each other for 10 years.
Yeah. Dude, that's crazy.
If not more.
Yeah.
Yeah, more than 10
So
years.
for three of us, Emory and Henry College was
Stingers
Was
up.
a starter.
is a
Yeah.
common
was the
Stingers
birth, was
up.
the birth
Stingers
of the
up, baby.
relationship, and then
yeah.
it's kind of evolved.
And just to like give the audience a glimpse at who Noah is, like he literally knocks on my dorm door looking for my friend. I tell him my friend's not there, and he just walks in to my room and sits down on my couch and goes,
You like Reggie
he's
Miller's?
like, bro, I just like don't think I can play football anymore. And I was like, I'm
hate
like
this.
looking around. I'm like, is he talking to me? Like,
I'm hurt. I'm beat up.
yeah, and I'm like,
Where's your bro? He's gonna come back eventually.
yeah, I was like, I think he'll be. I think he'll be back soon. Like, I'm not really sure. And I was like, I mean, I quit like 2 years ago, and it's been great. You know, it's awesome.
it's like my life's never been better.
My life's never been better.
I'm like, I might just sit and listen to him for a little bit.
Yeah.
We hit it off, and we were in a lot of stuff in college, involved in stuff.
How
So-
did we never cross paths at Emory?
I knew.
I was
who
only
you
there
were.
for a semester.
I knew
but-
who you were, but just because you were from Gate City, and I was dating a chick from Gate City who happened to have dated that guy from Gate City.
That's probably why you've never met.
Yeah, I was like,
That's probably why you never met Nick.
man. No, I'm just kidding. But also, my other best friend played for Emory, and when he graduated, you took his number, and he was always like, "That boy
That
Nick
guy.
Bowen, man."
Was it Robbie?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Robbie.
Robbie.
Yeah, Robbie.
Yeah.
I love Robbie.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, Robbie's a baller.
Yeah, Robbie balled out,
I
but he was
didn't mean-
hurt.
I didn't mean
every
to
day.
take your number.
Every day. we were
Only
in
dude I've
college.
ever seen like throw it off the backboard with Crocs, crank it back, and just
dunk?
yam it.
Crazy.
He can
Oh,
dunk.
he's
Okay,
crazy hops. Like
I'm going to save that story for when he's on
borderline
the
Mac
podcast.
McClung.
Yeah, I'm going to save that story for when he's on the podcast because that
We
was
got to get him on here.
that was insane.
He's a good athlete. Yeah,
miss
he's
him.
kind of good at everything.
So next question: what is one thing you swore that you would never do as a dad, but now you totally do it?
You ready?
Go ahead, Michael.
Own a minivan.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Okay, listen to me, boys.
Yeah.
You would not believe the amount of cup holders that are in this thing.
But how many cups got left in
I don't
there?
care. I don't
Oh,
An
care.
unbelievable amount.
Disgusting.
You would not believe the stowaway seats that turns this thing into an enclosed pickup truck.
Dang. Stow and go, huh?
It's unbelievable. I can start the thing from my house and get it nice and toasty before I put the kids in it.
That sounds good.
Open the doors on the way to the thing. Beep, beep. The only...
Beep, beep, daddy ho.
Dude, it is a comfy cruiser, and I
are.
swore. I remember before I had kids, me and my wife were like, "Ooh, we're gonna have a Pathfinder, or we're gonna have a Sequoia,
Suburban.
or we're gonna have a Suburban." And then we get there, and we're like, logistically though,
Yeah,
it's a minivan.
Good on
I've
gas.
been there, man.
I'm sorry, but you will never persuade me ever.
Okay.
Like, I think it's really cool. and
Okay,
It's
just, I was the
wait.
same thing,
Just
bro.
wait.
I was the same.
You are one kid
No.
in.
You are
No.
one
You are
kid in,
No,
one
it's
brother.
not
kid
happening.
in, brother.
You are
I don't
one
care if we need a
kid
carpool.
in.
not driving. I can't.
Carpool it. Drive a separate car
Like,
from your wife.
drive separate cars.
When you
not carpool.
realize the convenience of a DVD player
Oh
in
man,
your back seat
That sounds
Other
good.
vehicles have
on
that.
an 8-hour drive,
Lev's got his own reading light in his seat.
Yeah.
It's like he's on a
Sick.
plane.
That's
Yeah.
sick.
Beak, and he's
Yeah.
just like reading his little
the
comic book.
doors, the
Oh, the
doors,
doors.
oh, the doors,
The doors.
No more banging other
Ever
people's
seen
cars.
a Chevy with a butterfly
Five doors.
door?
Yeah, that's another thing too, because literally
That's a-
Lev was in my truck one time in Portland and just like opened the
man.
door. Just
Oh,
like,
man.
You know, I was just like, oh
There's
yeah.
no worse sound.
Oh, just
Good
It
for
happened
you.
to me recently, but luckily we were in the Home Depot parking lot.
Mm.
So Dad's was like, I can solve this problem. It's right here inside a Home Depot.
And if Home Depot doesn't have it, go to Lowe's.
Yeah.
okay. Somebody else. What's something that you swore you never would do as a dad, but now you do?
Okay, I don't know if this was something that like I put a stake in the ground, was like, I'm going to swear this off, but I really like change things around when I hit ripe age of 30 for just trying to eat better, you know, like kick sugar and stuff. So I found a more manageable spot than when I was like super brushing my teeth with clay and like chugging green powder and stuff.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, plenty of funny stories that we can dig into later when I got to granola. But just like letting the kids have like just junk food, I'll say, lack of a better term,
Yeah.
Yeah.
of being like, really controlling over food choices, because that in itself is also just a terrible idea. It's not sustainable.
Yeah.
And like, I don't want my kids to have some bad relationship with food either. Right. But I definitely had like this struggling period where I was like really trying to control those choices, or just not even have things like in the house, of course. But in the end, I'm just like, well, I just want my kids to be happy. I don't want them to feel like neglected, as long as it isn't like really messing with them. Like, I feel like my son might have some sort of a food coloring like allergy or a reaction. There's just been too many weird coincidences with his temper and stuff. But anyways, like even with that, I'm like, man, like some orange soda is like fine. Like, I mean, my kids aren't chugging this stuff every single day.
Yeah.
But it's like anytime, especially when we go to like a restaurant, I'm like, yeah, man, like go have Coke. You can have the cookie, like whatever. Just live your life, be happy with it. So that's been like a personal struggle of mine that I really had to let go of, and it took a lot. Like my wife, like letting me do that to an extent. And then her just being like, hey, like, can we just chill out with that a little bit? And she helped me like get to that point over a period of time. So bless your soul, Megan.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. You know what's super funny too, though, is like, I didn't grow up in a house that was strict about food, but like we like only had a certain type of snack in my house. It's really weird. But then I went to my buddy's house.
Oh, dude, I had that guy.
And his pantry was loaded, brother.
Was lit,
like he always had salt and vinegar Pringles, and there was like 7 in a line. Like you would pull one out, and it would just like slide up. Like it was
the store
insane.
itself.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
literally
just
like
pop
it was
back
like I was
out.
at the store. So I'd just go there and I'd eat like 3 or 4.
Turkey and cheese sandwich, salt and vinegar
Brother.
Pringles.
And you put them on there and crunch it down. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Anyways,
Yeah. I think
Just had a moment.
that was a moment.
I think a couple of things for me, like when Brooks was first born, we're in the hospital, and Taylor could tell you the story, but Brooks had like his hand in his mouth, and he's a newborn, and I'm like, get his hand out of his mouth, like he's not gonna be a thumb sucker, that kind of thing. And I'm like,
That's where I
whoa,
draw the
whoa,
line.
he's just born, like snap out of it. But I think just controlling little things like that, like the pacifier falls to the floor, like all right, just throw it in his mouth, those kind of things, like whatever. Like you're gonna get past all those things. And then I think too, I never really wanted to be I don't like the word lazy. I don't like to be a lazy person. Like mowing the yard, we mow the yard ourselves. Like we clean the house, we do all these things. But when you have a kid, time versus value, what does that look like? So I never thought we would be these people, but we have somebody mow our yard and we have a cleaning lady. So it's like, it makes sense though at this point in our life to do those things, because time is more valuable than us spending time doing those things. Because that's more time we spend together. That's more time we spend with Brooks. That's more memories we make. And I think that has just been a life hack for us, and it's worth it, where we just try to make it happen. But I never really thought we would be those people, and nothing against it, but my perspective has changed on it. And I think too, when my kids are old enough to mow the yard and clean and do chores, then we'll revert back to that to give them responsibility and those kind of things. But I think right now, this season of our life, it makes a lot of sense. So
Never
it's
even
kind of
thought about
interesting.
that. Never even thought about that. Huh.
Yeah, I love that. I can tell my daughter, like, hey, can you empty the dishwasher for me? And even like my son, like, you can do like silverware. Like put those in the drawer. You know where the spoons go.
Yeah, like today I was doing laundry. Like I was putting away everybody's laundry except for Bray's.
Yeah.
I'm like,
You're like,
he
Bray?
can pick this up.
Yeah.
Hey, Bray, come on.
Yeah.
Put your own laundry.
Yeah, ditto. I'm like, here you go, kiddo. You can come help.
Noah's already in the phase where she's trying to help with dishes, and I like turn around and she's got a knife in her hand. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yes. And they're so innocent too. They're just like, I just want to help.
They're like-
and they have
She's like, Gaga. And I'm like, you're a serial killer right now. Like, let me see it.
That is
Let
ditto.
me see it.
It's more like my hands. I'm like, just put it down.
Yeah.
You're good. Just put it
You're
down.
good. You're good. You're good. Okay. Let's see if we can wrap up with one more question.
All right.
What's been the biggest surprise about being a dad that no one warned you about?
Oh man.
Anybody?
Hold on, let me think about it for a second.
I know. I got to search the brain.
I don't want to get like, well, I'll just
Emotional.
I'm an emotional guy. Yeah.
Yes, you
wanna
do.
get
You
emotional.
want to get there.
I would love to see it, Michael. I would
Bluey.
love to see it.
Bluey. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't know how, like I knew how much I was going to love my kids, but like I didn't know.
There's
yeah.
another level of love
like I
that
just
you've never
didn't-
experienced.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
And two, like just the adventure that we get to have together. Like I didn't really like. I thought it was just like, oh, we have kids, we raise them. Hopefully, they do good in the world. It's a lottery. I have no idea. But like this journey that it's not just about us pouring into them, but it's like them pouring into us, and like we get to like kind of live this life together. Like I just, I've been so surprised by that, and I think too, like the more we add, it gets even more exciting because it's like, who is this next one, and like how will they add to the family in this dynamic and then this dynamic, and I think too, like to be real with you guys, like we lost a baby at the beginning of this year, and it was like so heartbreaking because it was like, to me, it was like a hole in the adventure that we didn't get to experience. And so I think for me as a dad, it was like I knew I was going to love my kids and I knew I was going to love this process, but like I didn't know how it would shape me, inform me, and I'm still on the front nine, like very much so on the front nine, and it's like I can't wait to see how how I can help them, but also like how are they showing me and making me more into the man that I feel like I'm supposed to be.
Yeah,
So
that's what they don't tell you is like how much it affects you as a person and as a dad, and like the joy you get just from them, like just snuggles with them or tickle time or whatever it is, like it's incredible.
Especially when they get older, and like Lev's like 5 or 6, he's like, will you hold me? And I'm like, any day of the week. I know, please. Brother, ask me again, like whenever you want it, and it's just like just those little moments, because it's like, man, like me and my son kind of had a hard morning this morning. Like it was just like we were kind of at each other. We woke up late, which is that starts the day off.
Don't recommend that.
Just wake up. Just get up when the alarm tells you
Wake
to get
up
up.
past 9. Just tell me how your day goes.
But we got in the car and he just starts talking to me like it was like nothing, and we just like talking. And I was like, dude, I was talking about my day yesterday, and he thought it was like the coolest thing that I almost hit 2 deer.
Ain't it so funny how quickly a kid's like mood can change, and like they could be having the worst day, and you bring up something that excites them, and they completely forget about it.
And you invite them in on it, and it's like, dude, I was like, we're driving to school, and I was like, dude, I was right here, and an 8-point buck ran out in front of the car, and he was like, you should have hit it. He's like, you should have killed that mug. And it's like, I didn't.
Did the guts spill out? Like, did you see blood?
And it was like everything that we had just argued about was just like,
the one son I had, like my one son that's like, he's all about like blood and guts. Like, tell me the story about the bear getting, his eye ripped out and the blood spilling out. Like, well, is there something wrong with you?
It's just,
that's great.
I love it.
What about you guys?
I mean, I just want to piggyback a little bit off of what you were saying too. Like, you can't like understand how much like your worldview changes, and it's like weird. Like once you have kids and you become a parent and like you're involved with them, you're like, people that don't have kids, like they walk around on this earth and like they just are missing. I swear, like they must be like missing half of their brain, like that they just aren't accessing or something.
Yeah.
Because like your understanding of this world and your understanding of like love and everything like that just like gets cracked open, and your like universe expands.
But their perspective is that, if like these people are missing out because like parents are missing out because they're having to,
them.
they're having
they're
to
restricting
sacrifice
them.
this
But that's
and
not
that.
true.
Yeah,
like
they're
I don't
having-
think that's true.
Yeah, they're not getting to do this, and they're not getting to do that. But it's like, man, you have no idea what that unlocks.
Dude, this could be a
in
whole
your
like
brain.
podcast episode for me right there. It's,
and I think that's for people who have chosen not to go that route,
absolutely.
right? Like,
because there's
it's like, well, you don't know what you're missing out on, right?
Yep.
But then I think other people can experience it through our kids who are friends of ours, or like their nephews or whatever, and being close to them in that sense.
I don't.
And there's still a piece of it that's missing, but as close as they can get to it, it opens up a whole different perspective and lens of care and love and
Sacrifice.
But like for everybody
Service.
too.
Yeah.
Like I mean, I love adults more like now that I have
Yes.
kids than I
Yeah.
did before.
Yeah,
Because I was
yeah.
just like, oh my gosh, like you were a kid once. Like you have like a mom or dad that like loves
Yeah,
you.
you
Like
have a
I
mom.
love my kids. Like
yeah.
whoa.
Yeah.
Like
That's
you're just more
awesome.
compassionate.
That's so cool, man.
Yeah, it builds the compassion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Yeah, I think nobody really warned me about. Actually, this is something I don't know if I'm answering the question, but this is something people have warned me about, but you would never understand the extent, kind of what you're talking about. Of oh, it goes so fast, like you're gonna blink and
Ooh,
they're
yeah.
gonna grow up, and
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, I know, but you don't know until you're in it.
Yep.
Like Brooks is gonna be a year, and it seems like it's just flying by, and he's gonna walk, and Taylor's like, oh, he's gonna be. We only have him for 17 more years,
Yeah,
and he's
dude.
gone. And it's like, well, okay, let's not.
I got left for 12
Let's just
more.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Dude,
So
think
it's just
about
let's figure it out.
how long, like your 4 years of high school felt like
Yeah.
ages.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
And then now, like a decade felt like 2 years.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like-
But well, they say the days are long, but the years are short.
Yeah.
And that's so true.
Everybody
With kids.
always tells you this, like, like it like you said, it's a flash, like it's gone like that.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
And I
It's
think
true.
too, when times are tough or you're just wrapped up in it, it seems like an eternity. Like when I'm sitting there feeding him in the middle of the night, I'm like, please just go back to bed.
Dude, my
And-
son had night terrors for a minute.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oof.
That lasted, it could have
Yeah.
been years. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I remember that. Yeah,
But
I
it's
remember
like
that.
you look back and you're like, hey, where did the time go?
Yeah.
And I think that's one thing. And then understanding the love that you brought up, I'm just going to kind of emphasize that. It's so true. There's a whole other portion that you said is unlocked. And I never really understood. You understand love. Like I have a relationship with God and I understand God's love for me, but I really truly didn't realize it. His love for me until I had a kid. And it's like I'm looking at my son and it's like who I believe in is Jesus, and it's like he sacrificed his son, and I'm like, I can't do that.
Yeah.
I can't, and I'm not just speaking for everybody here, but just based on what I believe, and I'm looking at it and I'm like, I could never do that. And it's very overwhelming, and it's a beautiful thing, but it gives you a whole different perspective of your kid, but then other kids. Like I love your kid. Like, yeah, I got to see your kids the other, a couple weeks ago and spent some time with them, but it's like, oh man, I love those little kids.
Yeah.
And
How
it's
could you
like,
not love Bobby?
Yeah, Bobby's the man.
Bobby's the best.
But like when I see Lev and no, it's like those are mine almost, and it's like
Yep.
we want to just be soaked in this moment and cherish these moments with them, and it's so easy to just boom, it's gone.
Yeah, I heard it said that, like, I'm sure you guys have heard this, and I'm sure people have heard this analogy, but you go home and there's smudges all over the windows. You wipe them off, and then there's smudges all over the windows. And you're like, gosh, like, would you stop touching the glass? You know, there's smudge where it's like, oh, it looks like they just had a pancake and then they just touched everything onto the. And this guy was saying that, like, one day he went back to his window and the smudges weren't there, and he was like, how much he missed
I know.
the smudges, and he was like, I would give anything to wipe my windows again off the smudges. And he's
Yeah.
like, that's how fast it goes.
Don't wipe those windows.
Yeah. And then there's one more for you, just to take this one home. One day you will pick up your kid and you will put them down and you will not pick them up again.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah,
That's why you got to work out, because even my
Get in the gym, dads. I don't care if he's 20. He's getting lifted.
yeah, bro. That's where I'm at. I'm like, I don't pick my daughter up much.
Yeah, I can no longer pick Beckham up. I mean, I
Isn't that
can,
crazy?
but it's like an effort. So,
Isn't that crazy?
yeah.
Ugh.
Wow.
Did you have something? I feel like you kind of added to everybody's question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I interrupt you guys a lot too, and I'm sorry. I don't.
No, it's good. It's what keeps the banter
don't
going.
ever apologize for being a good dad.
God, Noah.
So whether you are a new dad, a dad that's well in his heyday, a dad that's in his prime, a dad that's wishing the smudges were back on the windows, wherever you find yourself. We hope that today was encouraging to you. We hope you have an awesome holiday. We hope that you find those moments and you don't try to rush past them because they're chaotic, but take a moment, sit in it, because today, it just may not happen ever again. And so, super thankful for you guys. Thankful for this. Thankful for this podcast. It's so encouraging to hear y'all's life and the things you struggle with or you're working through, because it helps me be a better dad. So
we're better together.
Yeah.
Better together.
Share it, review,
like it,
share it with your friends.
subscribe, follow us on Instagram. That's where all the good content goes, obviously. Dude, oh my gosh, I totally forgot before we end this podcast. Tomorrow, am I right, is your birthday?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I'll play a game real quick before we end.
All right.
How old do you think Ryan is?
How old is Mad Dog?
I think I know how old you are, though. I think you said it the other day.
Wait, okay. Oh, then I have to guess.
You're the only one that probably doesn't have an idea.
Oh, cool.
I'm going to say mid-30s, right?
Okay.
But I know you said it, though. All right.
I'm
on
gonna
the
say-
count of 3, let's say it.
Okay.
Ready?
1, 2, 3,
37.
36.
Oh man, yeah, you guys are good.
37.
37.
Oh,
yeah.
37.
You
Okay,
will
I
be
knew it.
37.
I will be
So I'm
37
right now.
Yeah, currently today I'm still 36. Yeah,
And when
you're
this
gonna be-
podcast comes out, he'll be right.
yeah, yes. Boom, shakalaka.
Noah, how old are you?
31.
31.
Yeah.
31.
31.
Yeah.
30. 37.
Wow.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Oh,
Ryan.
thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks.
You the man.
30.
I
Happy
literally
to be
thought
here.
about bringing you a sack of sweet potatoes.
Oh man,
This guy loves
love
some
me
sweet
some sweet
taters.
Listen, I love them a little bit too much because we had some sweet taters here, and I dug in big time, like at lunch today, and then I took the container home and ate more. And I think I had too much taters.
Hey, man.
It's like a
You're
little
only
tater coma.
37 once.
Yeah,
You know?
like let's go.
Rip into those taters. Hey, thanks for joining. This is For the Dads.
Love y'all.
We'll see you next time.